HelloNote is a truly therapist-friendly practice management solution with integrated EMR that will enhance workflow, efficiency, and patient care. HelloNote reduces error and allows you to spend more time with your patients. It comes integrated with billing. Claims are generated once a note is completed. You can bill with one click and a patient portal, which streamlines the patient intake process. Beautifully engineered and cloud-based for easy accessibility, the software works on all platforms. You can access patient records from anywhere. We also offer 24/7 support. HelloNote is the practice management solution that you're looking for.
All right. Hello, everyone. Well, I haven't been going live in our Facebook pages and Facebook group. But if you're watching live, comment live, watching on replay, comment replay. I am here right now at our new location. We got a special guest, not guest, a good friend of mine, Steve, but we're just talking about our location. I'm here physically right now at our new location, our newest location, Physical Therapy of Jackson, of course, here in Jackson, Tennessee. And this is our new acquired location. We have the actual building. We acquired the actual building itself. So I'm very proud. And of course, without the support of HelloNote, without the support of our back-end team, I wouldn't be able to scale our business and our, the Jerry Hab brand without our support. So that is the reason why we have our special guest. So our guest for today, he is actually the CEO of HelloNote, and he asked me, "Hey, Mike, what are you doing in order for you to be able to scale and grow your business?" Of course, I always tell him, "Hey, it's HelloNote who's helping me grow this business," because in essence, when I first started and saw my first patient, I immediately reached out to Steve and I said, "Hey, man, I need an EMR, an electronic medical record, because I don't want to type everything. I don't want to do the faxing myself because I worked for an outpatient clinic before. I don't want to do that myself. And I'm basically a one man person. I don't want to fax. I don't want to type everything. I don't want to carry folders like this, a chart like this. I want an electronic medical record." And he said, "Man, I have a simple solution. HelloNote does that. Even the intake form is there. We still write the intake form, but you can do also the intake form there. And then along the way, the HelloNote EMR has evolved. You got the texting already. It can remind your patients. And then, of course, he asked me, where am I going here? He asked me, what is the secret of growing your business, Mike? Of course, scaling, delegating, and hiring good people. So of course, we hire physical therapists, occupational therapists, PTA, physical therapist assistant, and of course, we hired HelloNote team. We hired even a billing people under Steve's recommendation, and of course, we hired several virtual assistants. And then our virtual assistants, we got them from different agencies, from Jerry, from HelloRage, from everybody. But now we have our VAs called virtual assistants who actually we train under us, Jerry Hab, our standard. We train them under our HelloNote system and our standard in order for us to be able to scale and grow our 10 locations. And that's why Steve is here. So without further ado, okay, I'm going to bring in Steve. Steve. All right, sir.
Hey, Mike. Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me on.
First of all, thank you very much. I know you're very busy. I know you don't see any more patients, but you for some reason, you're also busier than ever, right? And same thing with me. There was a time I didn't see any patients. Now I'm seeing patients because we kind of grew our business. But again, Steve, could you reintroduce yourself? Tell us who you are and what do you do again at HelloNote?
Absolutely, Mike. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. Before I introduce myself, Mike, I want to say how proud I am of you, because I remember that first conversation we had where you didn't have anything going and you had your first patient. And listen, you made it work and you have so many locations now. So I am proud of you, of what you built. And I know many others, your family, friends, and just your listeners and everyone around you, I'm sure they're all proud of you too, because it's not easy to do what you accomplished in such a short amount of time. So I want to give you a thumbs up on that, Mike. And you were inspiration not only to the community of physical therapists, you're an inspiration to myself as an entrepreneur and occupational therapist and speech therapist, because your voice speaks volumes, not just on the like audio level, but it resonates to a lot of us and it hits home. So I want to thank you for that, Mike, and it is important for me to acknowledge that on behalf of the community, because you really make a difference in people's lives. So thank you, Mike, for that.
Well, I appreciate that, Steve. But of course, I'm gonna go throw back the compliment to you, man. I mean, you saw something in me. I'm sure you. I mean, you saw something in me. You told. I remember that too. I was crying. I was going to cry then, right, man? I said, Steve, help me, man.
I wasn't going to mention that.
Right? I said, Steve, help me. How can I do this? And then Steve really guided me. For those people who don't know, Steve guided me step by step. He literally had that patience towards me. We screen shared. I think we did Zoom that time. I don't know. We did Zoom. And he literally helped me step by step. Hey, this is where you click. This is where you got to go. This is how you do the billing. I did my own billing before. And to make the long story short, the rest is history. We got several locations now. So thank you, Steve, for believing. And for those people who are watching and you have your one-on-one session with Steve, you gotta do it. You got this vision, this encouragement that he's going to give you. He's very soft-spoken, and a very nice guy. And then he's going to instill that seed. And every week, and every month, he would instill that seed on me. And then that kind of grew. And now we're like, enjoying the fruits of our labor. But thanks again, Steve.
That seed. That's what I try to tell everyone as well. Just plant the seed for yourself. Because if you have the passion to start your own business, that's all it takes. You have to ignite that fire. And I speak to so many therapists who want to do it, they just never plant that seed, right? So like you, Mike, there's many other therapists that have planted the seed, right? And you just start small. And there's so many good community members out there. Just to name a few, you have Kara Welke with Next Level Occupational Therapy. She helps not just occupational therapists, OTs, PTs, speech therapists grow and evolve their business. You have Tony Maritato, who's a guru in Medicare billing, right? So whether you're cash pay, insurance, there's so many opportunities around in the community to help you, right? And all you have to do is reach out, right? And as you said, Mike, I am very accessible. I try to be very accessible because I want to give back to the community. It's not easy starting a business, right? It's pretty challenging if you've never done it before. But look at Mike, right? He started a seed. He grew Jerry Hab from one location to how many do you have now, Mike?
We got 10. So.
And look, you're in double digits, Mike. And how many years have you been doing this since the first location?
Well, you remember, man, I got fired, December of 2019. I'm still bitter, right?
So look at this. About 5-6 years later, 10 locations. That's amazing. Where else? What other industry can you have that type of growth? And the great thing about our type of business is that it does not require that much capital, right? Because there's opportunities out there to use softwares like HelloNote, because we don't try to price our system out of the ballpark where you're like, okay, I can't afford this. HelloNote at a core, we want to give you as many features as we can for the core price, right? So our base price of like $70, all the way up to like $90 a month with insurance billing gives you e-faxing, appointment reminders, reporting, patient appointment confirmations, intake consent forms. There's so many features that we just include for you, right? You don't have to use them all, but they're there for you because we want you to kind of think outside the box of how you're going to grow your business. Because there's no one like formula that works for everybody, right? And Mike, I know you know that because when you deal with new locations, you have kind of a recipe, but I'm sure every location is its own little entity that you have to make tweaks and adjustments to. So we at HelloNote want to make sure that we do our best and we give back to the community because we don't want to price you out of a system. So HelloNote is not just an EMR. We're a whole kind of suite of solutions that have you run a successful practice. So from the HelloNote side, we'll do what we can from my side, but we also give you opportunities to reach out to others that will help you grow your business, right? Like for marketing, for example. So those are very important kind of concepts to understand when you start a business. It's not just about, you thinking you know everything. It's okay to reach out, right? And if Mike, you didn't reach out, I don't know, you might have, maybe you would be successful, maybe you'd be more successful, maybe you wouldn't be where you are, right? We don't know. But the fact is, once you do plant that seed, once you do want to start a business, it's important to reach out. And I'm all for the community. And I really want to help as many therapists go out there and start a practice because we don't want to be bound by those productivities and you have to see 20 patients today or 30 patients and you have to bill 5 units each and things like that. As a therapist, we went to school to help patients and we should have the autonomy to help patients the way we see fit, not because somebody else tells us to do certain things.
That's so true. That's so true. I like what you said about, you don't have to have a big investment. Yes, of course, now we have big investment in business loans because we kind of open up multiple locations.
Yeah,
But really,
has to do that. You start
yeah,
small. Look at mobile practices right now.
yeah.
Mobile
So
practices are booming right now because it's just so you literally need an address from your home. And that could be your business location. You could start out of that. You could do credentialing, right? You could either hire someone to do credentialing or we have resources that help you do your own credentialing, right? You can start your own mobile practice, go do some marketing that you need. And what's your overhead? Yeah, you can have HelloNote for let's say $90 a month with billing, right? To manage your whole practice. You pay for an LLC, depending on the state. It could cost you anywhere from a couple $100s to maybe like $1,000 if you're like in New York or California. But again, these are all manageable costs where you can have your own business, right? You don't have to buy a building or rent space in the beginning. You could start small, and once you see the volume, that's when you can scale up.
and then that's how I started too, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you're watching, that's how I started. I started doing mobile home visits. And for those
Mm.
people who don't know, a lot of people don't know that you, as a Medicare provider, you can see the patients in the home as an outpatient provider. If your state has that certificate of need, obviously, like in Tennessee, normal people like me, Steve is like fancy guy. Normal people like me, I cannot open a home health agency here. I cannot bill Part A, but me as an individual therapist can bill Part B, patient in the home, and then you can do some home visits, providing the therapy that you're supposed to be providing. They don't have to be homebound, and that's what you want to provide, the Part B provider. So, with that being said, we kind of grew. I hired my first PTA, and Steve helped me there too. Steve helped me in every single step of the way. And then without the actual HelloNote structure, because I don't have to worry about, faxing and keeping records all the time. And I asked Steve, how can I scale this with other people's help? And you know what Steve told me? Hey, why don't you hire your own assistant? What assistant? A virtual assistant. And then that's the reason why we have this webinar right now, the virtual assistant. So how are we going to be doing this? How can I scale it and do the virtual assistant people? How they're the one who's going to call the patient for me. They're the one who's going to fax the paperwork for me. And then they'll be the one, okay. And then I look and then I found my VA. Her name is Faye. And she was working for some random outpatient practice too. She was a physical therapist in the Philippines, by the way, and she was working for someone else. And then I said, Faye, could you work for me? And then the rest is history. So the first task I asked Steve, hey, Steve, what else? What can I give this lady She's a PT and she knows what she's doing. And then Steve gave me all this task. Hey, why don't you ask her to learn how to fax this, learn how to follow up with the patient, learn how to give me a report if I've done the paperwork or not, stuff like that, and then boom. So now our individual offices, individual clinics, we have this different VAs, a front desk person, a virtual assistant like this. We have this, and that's what we're gonna be offering that services. It's not a full-blown VA services like what I have in our clinics, but like you start low and slow if you are starting right now. So, Steve, do you have any questions for me?
I mean, I'm gonna have some follow-ups on that, but just to touch base on the value proposition here is I think it's unmatched, right? Because you have a VA that's trained, like for example, let's say if you use the health VAs that Jerry have offers, and they already know HelloNote, they already trained how to speak to patients and you're referring providers, right? And you have a service like that, and then you can kind of mix and match what you want them to do for you. Where else are you going to get that, right? If you need to hire someone locally, essentially their salary is going to be more than your salary, especially if you're just starting out. So if you can have someone, a VA, that is vetted already from Mike's company, and they already know what they're doing and they already know the processes and systems, then you can have them spend a couple hours a day doing follow-ups on reports, KPIs, calling patients, making sure patients are satisfied with services, plan of care reminders for doctors. All of that can be bundled up in a service that health VAs can offer. And you can pay, Mike, I'm sure you'll go into the cost, but it's going to be a fraction of a cost of what you would spend hiring someone locally. So, and especially again, as you're small, and I think this would still work as you grow as well, because we have many clients that use VAs now, many clients, because, depending on where you are, maybe you're charging less money for cash services, maybe insurance reimbursement's not that great. So every dollar counts, right? And if every dollar counts, you can save a ton of money by hiring a VA, and that is time that you don't have to spend yourself, and you can spend more of that time marketing yourself. So that could be a whole nother webinar we could do, Mike, on marketing. But I would absolutely have a VA spend 10 hours a week doing stuff as opposed to myself, because I value my time that I can go and market myself as opposed to doing reports and doing follow-up calls.
That's so true. That's so true. So just so be clear, Steve, the reason why we're offering this too is because these VAs that we have, they're actually working for us full time. When I was starting up, I cannot afford to hire somebody full time, because I wasn't making enough money that time. And then when I offered my first VA full time, I offered it to her when I was confident already. I asked her, hey, can you start, 2 days a week, stuff like that. And then now, of course, when I knew in my head and of course in my numbers that, hey, I think I can offer this lady full time, then she transitioned to me full time. Now we have how many VAs do we have? 1, 2, 5 VAs that we have right now working, all different in actual virtual assistants, in billing, in authorization, actual front desk people, doing front desk 1, 2, and then another, scribe for me to do all my notes.
Awesome.
So
and these are trained VAs already they already know the process. So if
yes.
somebody wants a VA from health VAs, they will kind of absorb that process because they already have people that are vetted and trained on this.
Yeah.
So
they're my employees. Literally, we're not just randomly getting people, from different, from the Philippines. Hey, come and work, and then they're already working for us full time, and then what we're going to do is just offering this extra service to them. Of course, I
That's
don't want to, so let's go ahead and go to the
yeah.
slides.
Tell us more, Mike, because
Mhm.
I love this concept. I'm a huge believer in hardworking people. VAs are no different. They are hardworking, and they could really, and I could truly say this, they can truly make your business be profitable,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, I wouldn't be able to scale our business, Steve, without our VAs. And I always tell them this, hey, don't worry about all this AI stuff, because it will just make their job easier. So, but of course, let's go ahead and put on our PowerPoint here. Could you move the slide, Jeff? Jeff is also our VA. He's our social media, uh, what you call this, social media
They're everywhere.
director.
You don't even know that they're there, but they're there. They do
I know.
they make everything work, right? They're
I
behind the
know.
scenes. They're in the front lines. They make it work.
Yeah. Well, speaking of social media, it's actually this Jeff guy who's behind the scene. He's the one who's doing all my AI videos.
Wow.
I mean, I
I
don't
thought
even.
you're playing all the actors.
I don't know. It's. I just look at my Facebook. It's like, oh, there's an AI video of this already. So anyway, let me go put back this thing on the stage. So we've done the introduction. What is virtual assistant? Everybody knows what a virtual assistant is. For some reason, I cannot read this. Let me make it bigger. There you go. A VA is a professional. Most of our VAs, Steve, are actually PTs, and most of them are college graduates. So they're
Nice.
all professionals. So actually, two of our VAs out of that five are actual physical therapists. So yeah, and that will be the team of people that you're going to be getting from us. So they'll be the one who's going to help us out, support your clinic if you decide to have your clinic or your mobile clinic. That's what they're going to be doing for us. So next slide, Jeff. So what is the benefit of what we're doing? Cost effectiveness. First, um, uh, you're hiring people overseas. Yes, we're paying them, the minimum wage here, but what they're getting there is actually a life-changing amount. I was telling Faye and even Steve, I think when I retire, I want to go home and get paid 10, 15 bucks. And I'm like, that's a big money for us back home already. So, and of course, RVA, they're already trained. They're already using HelloNote. Unfortunately, we cannot do other EMRs because we're not using other EMRs. We're only using HelloNote. So for now, that's what we're going to be providing. And that way, all your RVAs will can easily transition to your practice if you're using HelloNote. So we know where the fax button is. We know where to run that report. They know where to run. Hey, these are the notes that hasn't been finalized or done. Hey, you haven't co-signed there's notes. Those are the stuff that our virtual assistants will be providing for you. So of course, when you give those, I'm not saying non-essential, and when you give this task to your VAs, you have more time to see your patients. So that's the same thing with me. I delegate stuff to our PTA, to our techs. In that way, I could talk to people, to talk to my patients, evaluate and see those patients more. So that's the benefit of hiring virtual assistants. Let's go to the next slide. Of course, you got a reliable specialized support. Our VAs, they work 8 to 5. Some of them 9 to 5, but they work 8 to 5. We've trained them, of course, on HIPAA regulations. We've trained them, of course, with HelloNote, uh, everything. They basically run our clinic. So they know. One of my VA even knows all my credit card details. So she runs all our background check and everything. She's our operations manager. So imagine if you have that person really helping you out, right? Of course, you're not going to get that. That's my operations manager. You're going to get the basic VAs here. Okay. All right. Next slide. So what are we offering? What are we offering? Okay. What can we offer? So again, no more chasing paperwork. This stuff here, these are my main struggles before when I was starting up. I have problems, following up with the plan of care. I have problems with therapists completing their notes because they've forgotten it, right? I've done, good thing we pay our therapist by the visit. But before, imagine if it was an hourly therapist, it's going to be hard to catch up with those notes. Of course, tracking missing signatures. This is also important. Now that we've practiced for approximately 5 years now, probably more than that. Um, we have audits now that they have audited us. Medicare is asking charts from 2021, 2022. Good thing we had a system with our VAs. Hey, you got to follow up with the signed plan of care, and they were the one who's doing this. I don't have the time to do it as a clinician. Of course, the KPIs. How many active cases do you have? How many pending cosigns? There's draft notes. Some therapists will keep that draft open, and the next therapist or the next PTA won't be able to finalize or do their note because there's a pending draft notes. This one here, I've been trying to improve this process. Our patient therapist birthday, and I haven't done that. But we already have this process. Jeff, my other VA, will be doing this for us. The referrals, we have a process on it. When the fax comes in, her name is Sheila. She will automatically call the doctor's office, and then of course, I thank them for the referrals. Of course, compliance support. They monitor everything for us. Uh, Basically, all of this, anything that I can delegate to a VA. And of course, reminders that actually your therapist won't forget to document visits. We will remind them after X number of days so your billing and compliance stays clean. And this is where the most of the private practices struggles because we forget to do the notes. You know, I was just I would say we started it on a good way because we pay our therapist by the visit because we did home visits, right? Imagine if you were a private practice wherein you're paying everyone by the hour, and then of course I forget it. I myself, I forget to do the notes. That's why I have my VAs reminding me and helping me track. I have a patient list, and they would remind me, "Hey, Dr. Mike, you haven't done your notes for this pay period." I'll personally do it myself. So, right? Okay. Next slide, please. Of course, again, our VAs are trained with only HelloNote because that's the EMR that we use. There will be consistent and consistent process there because we have the same EMR if you are using HelloNote. And of course, eventually, of course, all these VAs, they're working for me. They're answering phone calls. They're welcoming our patients in our clinic. They're up there. They have this tablet like this. They're on a not a Zoom call, but a Google Meeting link. But eventually, we're going to be offering that too if there's enough people who are interested. But for now, we will have a fixed, task for them for you guys, and that way we can support you too, and how we can grow your business too. And that's what our goal is, helping other people too. And that's why we're going to have an event too, a week or two from now, led by Kara and Steve and Rick in Boston, to support us private practice owners to grow our business. So, all right, let's go into the next slide. We'll go to that topic later. So, next, Steve, Jeff. So, how do you get this started? Okay, you reach out to me, reach out to the website that we sent you, or just send me a message, Steve or me or Kara, and then we'll send you a link, and then our Faye, our operations manager, will call you. You get a call and talk about, hey, how can we help and stuff like that. All right, next slide, please. And then the pricing starts at $297. Faye can explain more what are those different details and what's included in that $297 monthly. And they will talk to you and ask you. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know what they're going to offer what's called the details inside, but they're going to check every single thing on your EMR. Hey, this is what's missing, this is what's going on, and etc., etc. So like what say, who needs to be discharged, the patient that has been seen in 30 days, and all this reports here, and to remind you as the PT or the OT or the practice owner, hey, these are the stuff that you haven't been done. All right. So next slide. I need the VA to do something else for me. So this is a great question. I need the VA to do something else for me. Currently, we only offer the additional phone service for an extra flat rate fee. So we haven't finalized this yet, right, Steve? But once it's all and said and done, we can probably offer this. Right now, we can't because they're working for me full time. But once it's all and said, we have enough people, private practice owner interested on this, then we can probably hire another one exclusively for the private practice that needs this services. But for now, because all five of them, they work for me, of course. But someday, hopefully, if we have enough people interested, we could probably offer this for you too. But if you have that, if you want to do it, go ahead. Just let us know. We can train someone for you. And then next slide. Do I need to onboard the VA? No, because they're already onboarded under us. They're trained in our Jerihab way. They're trained in our HelloNote, in our system, in our processes, on how to refax the plan of care every week. How to document in the EMR on the events section, stuff like that. We already trained them how to do that, so you don't have to train them. Of course, they're going to ask you if you have those fax portal logins. One of our clinic, I like what Steve said earlier. Every clinic is different. Here in this clinic where I'm at right now, the Physical Therapy of Jackson Clinic, we have our own separate fax machine, so it comes in like a regular fax, right? The rest of the clinic, they go to a centralized fax, except for, of course, the Paris location. They have their own fax machine. No, I think it's a centralized, except for this one. So every clinic is different. I would rather have it under an online portal, just like what Steve recommended, because here, if nobody's here, the fax came in Friday, and we're not here Friday, it won't be addressed until Monday. So, so an online fax is much better, like what Steve recommends. All right, next slide. How do I get the reports? So your VA will email you, of course. All reports will be shared via a secure Google Drive, and reports are saved separately on a Google Sheet. They'll email you. I just don't know how many in a week, but I'm assuming this is a weekly report that they will send you and remind you, hey, these are the stuff that you need to finish. Basically, you get I always say this. I got another boss. Faye, my operations manager, she keeps me in line and check, and she would remind me, "Hey, Dr. Mike, you missed this." Especially during payroll period when she's doing our payroll. She actually does our payroll, and she does our payroll for us. She remind me, "Hey, you haven't done this." So there's a red line on my invoice area, and without her, I'll go crazy doing all this. What is payroll? So someday we'll offer that payroll thing too, right, Steve? Right.
The sky's the limit, right, Mike? So, and yeah, and I have two questions, but I'll wait for you to finish your presentation.
Okay. Next slide, Jeff. What if I have issues? There will always be issues, to be honest. Our lead, our operations manager, will reach out to you on a monthly basis. But if there's any issues, email us directly. Email Faye, our operations manager. There will always be issues. First is the language. Most of our therapists, most of our VAs, they're very good in English, but some, they just do the computer. It's they have thicker accent than me. So, but issues wise, if you have, for example, they have late reports, of course you tell us. There's probably some issues, but the Faye will reach out to you. 2 weeks ago, we had issues with internet because there was like a bad typhoon back home, stuff like that. But Faye will make sure to reach out to you at least on a monthly basis if you have any concerns. All right, next slide, Jeff. Okay, so if you have any issues or concerns or questions, you can email healthva@tntherapyoutsource.com or shoot me a message or Steve, and then we'll, just ask us that question. So, how about you, Steve? You have any questions, sir?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions, but overall, I think as far as offering this as a service, this is a much needed service in the industry. And I know there's others out there, and I love your honesty, Mike. Because there's a lot of salespeople out there for different companies and VAs and all of that. But here, you're getting trained VAs that are currently working for a therapy company that has OTs and PTs and assistants working already, so they know the deal. So when you said there's always going to be issues, I think that's Mike saying, like, look, don't expect perfection, because there's never perfect anything, right? And I think whoever offers perfect or says there's never going to be any issues, that's when you're kind of like, you have more questions like, oh, really? Like, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? But I really think the goal here is to streamline operations and service, free up your time, whether that means treating patients or doing marketing, or even honestly just luxury time for yourself or your family or friends, right? Think about that. If you can have a VA, what was the price? $297 a month. $297 a month. That's like, and so depending on what state you are, that's like a dinner, right? If you go out for dinner. So, depending where you are, that price to run a business, and this is obviously a tax deduction on your business. So that is, to me, and again, I know you'll go into more details once you set up a call, but essentially it's a no-brainer, because a lot of these tasks are things that you do right now that take up a lot of your time. And it's not that you don't want to do it a lot of times, it's that your time could be spent better elsewhere, right? So your business can actually thrive because you spent an extra 5-6 hours a week doing something, whereas you get a VA to do that and email you reports. And honestly, there was a slide there that said something like, everything's done behind the scenes. And I love that, because even to me, when sometimes I get emails and they pile up, it's stuff that I don't even need to be concerned about, because as long as things are happening behind the scenes, I don't need to know about it. So in this case, if the VAs are doing their work and they're making sure that planet cares are being signed, no show and the cancellation rates are kept to a minimum, patients are being called, all of this stuff is being done, then you, as the clinic owner, just look at your monthly KPIs and you don't have to worry about, oh, my planet care was missed or something like that, because the VAs are responsible to do that. And I think there will be maybe a month, 2 months of kind of just getting to know the VA, getting to make sure that they're the right fit for you. But I think after everything's ironed out, and it seems like Mike is more than willing to step in, and Faye is more than willing to step in to make sure things will work out, right? Because again, nothing's ever perfect, but you have dedicated people that are trying to ensure that this does work out. Because if it didn't work out, Mike wouldn't be where he is. And I have plenty of clinic owners that I know that use VAs, and they're able to function and run a proper clinic because they have VAs. So I really love the service. I see a huge value here, and Mike, I'm here for support on it. So anything that we can do to streamline the process, we will do. One of the things I would recommend, I don't know if you already do this, but I know you said there's like a drive where things are shared, but it would be awesome to have a checklist of what was done throughout the week or month. Is that something that the VAs or your process already has?
Oh yeah. I mean, Faye is just really good at this. She has a training checklist for all the VAs. She's got a timeline of what they're supposed to do. and then on my own invoice of where I can share it on my own Google Drive or Google Sheet. On my own Google Sheet, there's like Sheila's to-do list.
Mhm.
Enrico's to-do. Enrico is another of our front desk. He's like the people think that he's an AI because he's like so animated in the video, and then every time the patient comes in. Speaking of AI, we got Anthony Maritato thinking what AI right now, man. We're real. So, but yeah,
And
you look too young to be real. Thank you, Anthony. And then
we should invite Tony also in.
I know, right? So
We got
Jimmy,
Jimmy
Jimmy's a
Stout.
good friend of mine. Yeah, so good
Yeah,
friend. That husband
awesome.
and wife tandem, Kayla and Jimmy. Well, anyway, uh, where were we? Stop disturbing us, Tony. No, so
Oh,
just kidding.
you mentioned AI, and then all of a sudden Tony comes in with asking if we're AI.
I know, right? He was the one who taught me how to do that VO video. Well,
Yeah,
anyway, so
Tony, I saw those videos. Those were great. Tony had those videos. I thought I was like, those were real.
I
It's
know Tony is just
now.
all over it, man. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, I like what you said. We wouldn't be able to scale our business without the support of our virtual assistants, ladies and gentlemen. So here we are. We're gonna show you our process. Our VAs will help you to be able to do what you're supposed to do. I think the main struggle that most private practice owners is learning how to delegate and letting go. And
Mhm.
I like what Steve said earlier about he knows that the VAs are working behind the scene, that you don't have to watch them. And on that same note, Steve, I want to say this to you too, and of course to our VAs. They know this. We don't uh we don't what do you call this? We don't have a time clock for them. They
Mhm.
may have a time clock under their agency that they're working for, but in our business, even Jeff could say this, the one who's behind the scene right now. I told Faye, if we're gonna time clock, time in and out our therapists or our VAs, you might as well not, if we're not trusting them.
Mhm.
So I just trust these people that they're gonna work behind the scene, that they're gonna do their best, and then if I see like a lapse, I'm just going to blame them. Hey, this is supposed to be your job that you're supposed to follow up every week. Why did it happen? I'm not going to ask them, did you work? I'm not going to micromanage them. And I think that's our problem as private practice owners. We want to micromanage everything, which is good. Don't get me wrong. It's just good every now and then. But as you grow and scale, it's going to be hard. We got other locations that I haven't been there since we opened. Shout out to Kingsport location, our clinic in Kingsport, Tennessee. I haven't been there since I opened. Yes, I see all the faxes coming in. Yes, I talked to Casey,
You get
our lead
reports on that.
therapist there. I'm sorry, Steve.
You get reports though on that
Yeah,
location to see things
yeah,
are going. And
yeah,
that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? So you don't have to know every little thing if you have that trust, and it seems like you do have that trust with your VAs, and you give them the autonomy to do their job, right? You get reports and you know things are working well. And if you see you're in the red 1 month, that's when you come in and you step in and you say what's going on,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
But as clinic owners, I think it's important. I mean, we do so much stuff throughout the day as like entrepreneurs and clinic owners, especially if you're treating and running your business, right? You should have a team behind you that you trust, right? And it seems like, Mike, you're doing a great job with your team. And the fact that you're even opening up these doors for others and inviting them in to reach out so they can kind of reap the benefits that you created with your VAs. I think that's very generous of you, and I wish success for this because I see the huge value here, and yeah, well, we're here to support it. And if there's any questions, on the HelloNote side, Mike, if there's training, all of that, we're always up to do
Well,
training
thank
sessions.
you. Thank you. Well,
So
again, thank you, Steve. I appreciate you. And like what I said, if we're able to help other therapists, because basically what we're doing is I'm opening up other location, and this VAs comes in and help me grow there. And then same thing with what we're going to be offering to our audience right now, HelloNote users. private practice owners who use HelloNote, we're gonna, try our best to help you. And of course, they're working for us full time. They're gonna do this towards the end of the day. Of course, they answer the phone calls for me and everything like that. But towards the end of the day, they're gonna work for that. They're gonna work that, and it's gonna be their extra, a job stability for them too. So you're not just helping me as a company, you're helping those VAs too for their job stability, and of course helping yourself to delegate all this other tasks that you can delegate. So again, thank you very much, Steve, for giving us the opportunity to do this and show the other people too. So all right, so Jeff said yeah, thank you, Jeff. Jeff is actually our VA who's behind the scene too, operating this.
Yeah, thank
uh,
you, Jeff. Awesome job.
Steve,
And just
any last parting wisdom for our people who are watching right now, sir?
yeah, just quickly also want to mention, like, I know you said that these are VAs that you currently have trained and everything, but it sounds like if you're gonna get a lot of interest here, it sounds like you're gonna have to hire and train, and they're gonna be more VAs that are not working for you, and these are just gonna be VAs that are under Jerry Hab doing this for others. So they're not gonna be splitting their time for you. They're gonna be helping other practice owners because they'll have the time. So I'm looking forward to that. I think there's gonna be a lot of therapy practitioners and clinic owners reaching out to you to ask how do they sign up, because I know I would, if I was running a practice right now and I had the opportunity to have somebody I trust with their VAs coming into my clinic and handling a lot of the things that I currently do, then I would definitely delegate that. So yeah, as far as wisdom goes, as I said in the beginning, if you are not currently a clinic owner and you're a therapist or provider that has been thinking about running your own practice, just reach out. You can direct message me on Facebook. You can email me on just email steve@hellonote.com. I'll be happy to have a chat with you. Mike, I know you're very easily accessible as well. So just reach out. That's all it takes, is to reach out. We'll have a conversation. You don't have to start now, right? It's a journey to have a practice. But I think the first step is to acknowledge that this is what you want to either do or you want to try to do. So reach out, plant the seed, and we'll do our best to ensure your success.
It's true. Well, again, thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate you. And of course, before I let you go, we would like to also invite you. I think it's going to be next week, right, Steve?
Yep, we have a next level live event with myself, Kara Welke, and Rick Owenda is going to be there. And he's full of information. So he's going to be doing a lot of cool topics on the industry. And it's a 2-day event in Boston. So if you have not registered yet, I do recommend you register. We did have early bird that already expired, but reach out and we'll share the link with you. So I'd love to see you there. We already have a lot of people signed up, which is really cool. It's always great to have an educational weekend filled with a networking weekend of fun as well. So definitely looking forward to that.
Well, for those people who don't know, I normally attend that event. I have been attending that almost every year. Just so happened that my daughter is graduating this week, and then the college moving day next week. But I always go there. Why? Because I learned so much. I learned that Steve is a good-looking guy in person, right?
Likewise.
I learned so much from Rick Goenda. Rick may be like a strict person online, but if you get to talk to him, he's also crazy like me, and so he's a fun guy. And then of course Kara, she's always crazy. So he just don't, make sure you have Kara in check there, man. Okay, and then of course her family, their family there is just always so supportive. Again, thank you very much, Steve. We appreciate you, and of course for those people who are watching again. if you have any questions, reach out to us. We're going to be again offering this VA services. Specifically, they work for us. For us, Jerry Hab. If you need help, we're here to help you out. Again, thank you very much. Again, we appreciate you. But before I let you go, always remember the word FAST. FAST, letter F. Find people that will bring out the best in you, because you are the average of the 5 people you hang with. If you hang out with good people, you're going to be good. I wouldn't be able to scale this business without Steve's help, without Kara's support. So find those people. If you need actual people, go talk. I even went to Anthony Maritato's clinic. I don't know if you remember that, right, Steve? I went to his clinic. Anthony told me, Anthony and Steve and Kara, we went to Florida. We had this event there like 2 years ago. And I said, Tony, can I go to your clinic? He said, yeah, I went to his clinic. So find those people that will bring out the best in you, okay? Next letter is letter A, take action. All this stuff that we're doing is not going to do me good. It's not even going to do Steve good if you don't take action. Take action. If you want those slides, reach out to me or Faye or Steve. We'll send you the slides, or talk to my operations manager. She'll explain it to you. So take action. Next letter is letter S. Shoot for the moon. Why? If you keep shooting for the moon, you're going to miss it, but you're going to be landing with the stars. You're going to fail, right? That's the reason why we're saying shoot for the moon. But you're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes along the way. But it doesn't matter how many times you make mistakes. What matters is how many times you modify it and adapt and adjust and reach for your next level, okay? And last but not least is letter T, is teach it. Why? Because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you're actually teaching it, you're actually going to understand it more. And that's what Steve has done to me. He kept on teaching me. And now we're teaching other people. Now we're understanding it. Again, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Be awesome, be great, be excellent, and we'll hopefully see you in Boston with Steve there, or in our next episode of our Jerry Hab show. All right, again, thank you. See you soon.
HelloNote is a truly therapist-friendly practice management solution with integrated EMR that will enhance workflow, efficiency, and patient care. HelloNote reduces error and allows you to spend more time with your patients. It comes integrated with billing. Claims are generated once a note is completed. You can bill with one click and a patient portal, which streamlines the patient